There was a crazy tweet from Andrew Cuomo that I have to tell you about because it was agonizing. Andrew Cuomo tweeted the following. He said, "We cannot simply stay closed until the vaccine hits critical mass. The cost is too high. We will have nothing left to open. We must reopen the economy, but we must do it smartly and safety." And that's he was talking about his State of the State 2021. Who is this person? This guy who's closed down the state since the beginning. This is what's crazy. He kept the state open way too long when they were in the real throes of the worst part of the virus that has hit any individual area this entire time. He kept it open. It was like, oh, no, go to Chinatown, go hang out, go on the subway. Just maybe have a little bit of extra distance between you and the next person over. You know what? Yeah, it's a little bit nasty, but hey, let's let all these elderly people go into the nursing homes and we'll kill them all off. It'll be fantastic. He does that. Then when the virus goes away, he remains closed for far too long. He's been flailing back and forth on these things the entire time. Now he's acting as if he's the one who wants it to be open, and everyone else is trying to get him to keep it closed. This is insanity. I mean, he sounds like Donald Trump in this one. I mean, when did Andrew Cuomo turn into Donald Trump? Well, give me that tweet one more time. Look at this. I mean, right here it says, we cannot simply stay closed until the new vaccine. Wait a minute. Zoom in on the avatar a little bit. Oh. Something doesn't look right there, right? We'll have to get back on that. I know Don's had a little bit of free time without his Twitter account, perhaps. Anyway, one of the things that's the defining issue with Andrew Cuomo is not necessarily that he's been wrong every time. And this is hard for people to understand. As a person and the purveyor of AndrewCuomo'sAwful.com, you'd think that I think he's wrong on every single decision. Well, no, he's just wrong on almost all decisions. But one of the worst parts of his leadership as governor is to flail wildly and erratically back and forth from saying we're never going to close down to closing down the state the next day, back and forth with policy after policy. He doesn't make well-considered decisions. And that is the worst thing you can do as a leader in the middle of a crisis. Here's another example. Andrew Cuomo came out and thought, well, my wokeness and my class warfare side of me says we better make sure that people aren't cutting the line. I don't want rich people cutting the line, getting vaccines. I don't want young people getting them. So if someone gives a vaccine to a person who is not in the proper line, maybe elderly or a frontline worker in the medical field, then we will fine them $1 million. Okay, so what does that do? What does that do to your psyche if you're someone who's distributing the vaccine? You realize your entire life is over if you give the vaccine to someone who is not in one of these first groups. All right, well, maybe that makes sense. Then everyone's going to want to give them to someone that's elderly, right? Well, the problem with this is there are issues that pop up. So maybe a vaccine dose has one more day or a couple of hours before it goes bad and you have to throw it out. Well, instead of giving it to an employee who's right there and is 25 years old and maybe not in the highest risk, but at least it won't go to waste, they've just been throwing them out. Because if they throw them out, they won't get the $1 million fine. This is how dumb Andrew Cuomo is. He's done this over and over and over again, to the extent that he's lost multiple public battles with Bill de Blasio. That's how bad Andrew Cuomo is. It's almost inconceivable how stupid this guy has been. And the fact that he has any credit as if he's operated in some efficient or admirable fashion during this crisis is absolutely incredible. It's as if we're living in Bizarro world. So now Andrew Cuomo has, because he didn't actually consider the repercussions of his first action, has now reversed himself again to a totally different side of the argument and now says you can give it out to your younger employees that maybe aren't in high-risk groups. This is, of course, the correct decision, but it takes him forever to get there. No other states are having this problem. I mean, Gavin Newsom did have that problem, but they've even changed the policy already. Other states are not having that problem because it makes a lot of sense to just say, I think this is a thing that anybody who's distributing the vaccine should be thinking about, is maybe you have a sign-up sheet that says, hey, if we're having any doses that are about to go bad, we're going to text you, come on in, and we'll shoot you up. These are this is a resource that is finite right now. and it's important to protect it and get it out to as many people as possible. Operation Warp Speed must be completed, and we'll see how that goes in the coming days. Also, the Cuomo administration once again is refusing to give out the details of what actually happened in the nursing homes in his state. After months of furor from mourning families, the administration of Cuomo issued a report in July absolving itself of blame for thousands of COVID-19 related deaths in the nursing homes. Of course, epidemiologists said the data did not back up the sweeping conclusions. Bill Hammond, who's been on this program before, senior fellow for health policy, the Empire Center for Public Policy, a fiscally conservative Albany-based think tank, said it's common for the state health department to stonewall open records requests, adding, quote, "It's fair to assume they're doing so because there's something they don't want the world to know." Quote, "They've made this extremely detailed analysis and are refusing to share the details necessary to fact check that analysis. I think it's fair for people to wonder, why wouldn't they be happy to share it?" That is a really good question, and one I'd love to get the answer for, but no media members seem to ask him about this in any way, at least not with follow-ups. They ask him maybe once, let it go. For 6 months, the health department has claimed in response to the request, this is from the Times-Union, that it was engaged in a diligent search for the facility surveys, even though the information had on the basis, was the basis of that report in July. So they have the information, but they're going through this diligent search to find the information that they had in their own report. And if they don't have it in their own report, then they lied about the report. Again, this is just a constant barrage of lying from this administration. And at some point, somebody's got to hold Andrew Cuomo responsible for it, other than just a mug. There's only one way you can hold him responsible at andrewcuomowasawful.com. I just don't know that's the best way. I mean, we're talking, everyone wants to impeach everybody these days. This guy gets a free ride. This guy continues in his job somehow. It's absolutely fascinating. They've gone back again to try to get these records. Again, they said, well, no, sorry, we don't have them. If you don't have them, you lied in your report, and you know you did. So hopefully some journalist who actually has access to Andrew Cuomo, because I'd love to ask him these questions. He's not coming on this show. I would love if a journalist would not just ask the question and say, well, let me ask you about these nursing homes. Oh, you did a report on yourself and you've exonerated yourself? Well, thank you for coming in, Andrew. Follow up, ask him questions. Ask why he's bragging about the low numbers in the nursing homes when he supposedly doesn't have the low numbers in the nursing homes, when he won't provide them. Someone's got to follow up on this. We'll see if that happens, and we'll certainly keep you updated as we go forward. Andrew Cuomo is awful.com.